Hi everyone, this is Miss Katya, and this week we're learning about flowers. So we're going to look at some beautiful paintings by famous artists. We're going to talk about them, and then we're going to make a few projects about flowers. And we're going to start with Claude Monet, and this is his painting of lilies. And so you can see it's lilies on a pond, and lily is a flower that grows in the water. Usually has big round leaves, and when it's time the flowers bloom in pink. So you can see the flowers, you can see the circles, those are the leaves of the lily flower. You can see lots of pink flowers here. So we have a lot of blue in this painting, which is probably the water. Then we have flowers, and then this is probably a willow tree. And this painting is very pretty with pretty colors. Even just the three colors, pink, blue, and green, create a very nice, calm atmosphere of this painting. And I've seen these paintings. He made a lot of these paintings. I've seen some of them in person, and some of them are really big, so you feel like you're actually standing in the middle of a pond. So let's look at his other painting. And this is his other painting. It's called Still Life, and it's a still life of peonies. It's a type of flower. It's very fluffy. It's almost like a rose, but even fluffier, even more rounder. And usually it's white or pink or dark pink, dark pink. And you can see this is a very sunny day. The flowers are by the window on a table with a tablecloth. You can see a lot of sunlight. You can see it's in a glass jar. So it's very, very sunny, and flowers are very beautifully painted with beautiful shades of pink. We get a lot of light pink and white and dark pink. And the painting feels very sunny, very happy, and very gentle. The brush strokes, you can see, are create very fluffy, gentle flowers. So let's look at another painter. His name is Matisse. He's also a French painter like Monet. But look, this still life looks very, very different. It's got very bright colors. It's also flowers, which at first you might not be able to see because there's so many little tiny squares that look like they're just floating around, moving around. So this painting has a lot of movement. But if you look closely, you can see some flowers. They look like tulips, maybe, and some daisies. And they're also in a vase on a table or tablecloth. It kind of looks like it's floating. So this painting has a lot of bright colors, has a lot of movement because it's all made out of little tiny squares that they look like they're just moving around, bouncing around. Even the flowers and the vase look like they're made out of little tiny squares. So this is very different and unusual. Let's look at this one. This is also by Matisse, and this looks also very different. At first, it's hard to tell what it is, maybe, but you can see some flowers. I see some daisies and other flowers and some long leaves, and maybe even a picture, and maybe it's standing on a table. And the colors are also very pretty. Not as bright as his other painting, but also pretty, with lots of pink like Monet and this minty green. And to me, this painting feels also sunny and more gentle than the one that we looked at before. It doesn't have those little tiny crazy squares jumping around, but it also has a lot of lines that are not blended, they're not even. You can see the brush stroke. So this is Matisse. Now let's look at another artist. This is Renoir, and this is also a still life. A still life is when we're drawing or painting some objects, usually on a table, Sometimes it's fruit, sometimes it's a vase with flowers. So this is a vase with flowers, and everything is very toned down, right? We have a lot of gray, the table is gray, the wall is gray. This picture is kind of brown, I guess. And the flowers look very tiny, but they're very delicate, very detailed. And they do have bright colors like yellow, red, some blue, and lots of white. So this painting looks very realistic, meaning that it looks like a photograph, even though it was painted. So very different from Matisse, right? Matisse was more abstract, more made up, had more movement, and didn't feel like a photograph. So let's look at another painting by Renoir. He's also a French painter, and this looks a little bit similar to the one before, right? We have very small flowers. It's very detailed. It's also flowers in a vase, but it kind of looks fancier. The vase is very white, very pretty with patterns on it. And I think it's on a wooden shiny table because you can see a shiny reflection of the vase on a table. And can you guess what kind of flowers these are? I think to me this is lilac. So they're usually tiny purple flowers. They can also be dark or light purple. They can be white, maybe slightly more pink or slightly more blue. So this is very like a photograph, very realistic painting, very pretty. Let's look at another artist. This is very famous. His name is Van Gogh. He's from the Netherlands. And this is sunflowers, and they look different. They don't look exactly like a photograph. They look a little more flat, and he only has a few colors, right? He has this golden yellow repeating on the table, the top of the vase, and the sunflowers. And then just a little bit of very bright blue, a little bit of green, tiny bit of red, tiny bit of light purple. And his signature is on the vase, so he wrote his name right in the middle of his painting. And look at the flowers. They don't look as soft and gentle. They kind of look prickly. Those lines look very jaggedy. They do have a lot of movement, just like Matisse's painting, right? We can tell that the lines are squiggly and moving around. So this painting is a little bit like Matisse with the jaggedy lines and interesting colors. So this is another painting by Van Gogh. And to me, this one seems more gentle, has a lot of pink and some blue, lots of yellow colors. There's even books. This tablecloth is very pretty pink. The vase is very pretty colors. And those flowers are very soft and pink. They have green leaves that are very luscious. And the flowers look much softer than the sunflowers. So, but again, it doesn't look like a photograph because I think the colors are a little more brighter, not as colors are in life. So this is Van Gogh. This is his sunflowers. We also looked at Renoir, very small, very realistic flowers. And this is Matisse, a little bit more like Van Gogh, not very photograph-like, a little bit more imaginary with a lot of movement and bright colors that are not very real. And this is Monet, again, very pretty like Renoir, very soft flowers, very soft colors. So this is our video about the flowers. And next we're gonna make some projects about the flowers. We're gonna make a flower, and for this project we need some watercolors, a nice soft paintbrush, some water, one pipe cleaner, and again we're going to use a coffee filter. We're going to paint it and use it as our flower. So we're going to let it dry after we paint it. And if you remember from our last class, we just need a lot of water. We need to be very gentle when we paint and use bright, nice colors that you think, you know, that you want your flower to be. So they can be anything. You don't need to do them in any order, or you can do it like a proper flower. So the middle is one color, and then on the edges it's different, or maybe you can even paint each petal a different color. And you can make your colors sort of blend into each other. You can make, so I'll try and make each petal sort of a different color. I'm gonna imagine this. This is one petal. This is another petal. I'm trying to go fast, but you don't need to go fast. Take your time. Make really, really pretty colors, really pretty petals. And just keep going till you cover all of this in nice, nice colors. And, you know, try and use paper that you don't really care about, because the coffee filter will let it go through and leave it print like this. So once you finish painting all of your flower, all of this is going to be colorful. Set it aside and let it dry. I think at least, I don't know, at least 20 minutes. It might take longer. So next, when your flower dries, you could actually make a couple of this, you know, maybe 2 or 3. And when they dry, you can put them together, take them in the middle like this. So kind of fold them, and so you tie them in the middle with your pipe cleaner like this. But try to be as tight as you can. So look, we got a stem and we got some petals, and you can leave it like this, or you can make it fluffier. Kind of try and open it up a little. And the more coffee filters you paint, the fluffier your flower is going to be. And also the colors outside are going to be more visible, and the colors inside are not that visible. So look, it's a very pretty flower. And next we're going to make some lilac flowers. So let's see. Next we're going to make some lilac flowers, and for that we just need some white paper and some paint. You can use, I'm using acrylic paint. You can use watercolors or tempera paint. And I'm going to use different shades of purple, light and dark, and some blue. You can also make different shades of purple by mixing a little more red or blue into your paint, or a little more white, just to get some more different colors, because lilac trees usually have dark or light purple flowers, sometimes blue, sometimes pink, sometimes even white. And we're going to paint using a Q-tip. So you're going to just take a little bit of paint, maybe from the cap, not so you don't dip your Q-tip all the way, just a little bit, and just go like this. Make as many dots as you can before you have to get a little more paint again, and try and make it a little maybe thinner towards the top of your flower, and just keep going, keep going. I'm going to use another color. I'm going to use this purple now. I'm going to go where there's white. So you just keep going and going. Maybe now I'll try a little bit of blue. Just a little bit. And it's okay if they mix together, you know. We just got to cover as much as we can. So a little more. Try and don't make them like I did, big blobs. Try and make them nice little circles, and keep getting more and more paint. So mine has darker colors to the bottom of it, and then to the top they get lighter, but you don't have to do that.
Just make sure you don't have much white, that it's mostly covered. And just keep using different colors of purple. Or maybe if you want to, you can make yours pink. Then you need different shades of pink. And you can again use a little more red or a little more white in your pink. That way you can get different shades. So after you feel like you've put enough colors, after it looks like it's not, like it's got a lot of flowers in it, and you can make yours even fuller. It doesn't have to be this skinny. I'm just gonna do one skinny, but you can make a couple of them, and then you can even use a crayon or some green paint and give it like a little stem, like a little branch, because they usually grow on branches. So maybe like this, maybe some leaves, if you can see. So this is my tiny little lilac flower.